Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Cobra Rattler. So, along with the Hiss tank, the Rattler is one of the symbols of Cobra's might. It had been for many years, and it had been the evil organization's chief means of gaining air superiority. Even in the advent of other more sophisticated fighters, like the Hurricane and the Stellar Stiletto, the Rattler had continued to be the most versatile fighter, mainly because it was a what's considered a VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing. Um, so while primarily designed as a ground assault jet based off the old A-10, the Rattler was configured for engagement in aerial dogfights, although its high fuel consumption limits this capability. It has VTOL capability that ensures its response for a quick transport. The aircraft has a maximum weight of 23.5 tons and a max speed of 450 miles per hour with 300-mile average combat radius. Now, um, keep this in mind. I'm trying to put this all into a Star Wars ish scenario. Um, so I'm changing things up here. So we'll just keep reading on here. The nose mounted 30 millimeter cannon. Um, can shoot up to about 1,400 rounds a minute. Um, and the turret mounted 20 millimeter twin guns can shoot up to about 2,000 rounds a minute. The Rattler's ordnance is impressive, being able to carry up to 14,000 pounds on 10 external hardpoints, variable configurative weapon loads. One configuration consists of 6 cluster bombs, 2 pilot selectable air to air or air to ground missiles, armor piercing renegade missiles, and 2 radar seeking bombs. So, um, this came out in, let's see, it was 1984. Okay. Um, and we saw it in almost every episode. So, a very iconic fighter for Cobra. Now, in 1988, they did come up with a variant of this for GI Joe itself, calling it the Tiger Rat. Um, I wanted to make sure I put that in there, mainly because if we're depending on how you wanted to put this in, like I said, my idea on this is um, possibly doing a GI Joe in a D6 format based off of the West End games Star Wars. Whether you wanted to put it in the D6 Lite or anything else, here's another opportunity to look at this. So, kind of gaining from a lot of the stats that we have, um, I'm considering this as a starfighter. So, one of the thoughts I was thinking here is, and bear with me, is most of the jets that we have, we're going to start treating the jets as though they are aerospace fighters based off of the same designs. So that's kind of where I'm going. Whether you agree with it or not, you can let me know in the comments. That's perfectly fine. I am open to all the criticism in the world because, like I said, I'm taking one idea and putting it into another. So this is 53 feet in length. Sorry, I do not have the meters in here. I should start doing that a little bit more. Um, we do have a crew of 1 pilot and 1 turret gunner. No extra passengers, although there are plenty of episodes we see people just being thrown in there one way or another. I did give it a cargo capacity of about 45 kilograms. So for us English people in America and the other country that's still doing pounds, roughly about 90 pounds. We do have full coverage for any personnel in there. I gave it a space of 6, and I should probably move these around because I think our space and our move should be kind of there. We go. Giving it a move about up to 950 kilometers an hour. Give it a maneuverability of 40, body strength of 60. Uh, trying to base this off of the A10 airframe. The fighter itself has been able to fly back on some really catastrophic damage in that, and it's still been able to make it back. So I gave it a really high body strength. Of course, I don't have any shields on here, so that's something you'll have to work out if you decide to go down this route yourself. Say, hey, you know, do we have the base without shields? And maybe the Tiger Rat, because now that would be a Joe vehicle, and you give it a shields of 1D or something. So there's an idea for a little difference. When I was looking up for stats here, there are no differences between one or the other. Oh, and my phone goes off here. Give me a second. So, what we have is we have the heavy repeating cannon with a fire control of 2D. And giving it a fire 2D here, a damage of 70. Now, that heavy repeating cannon being in the front. Um, um, Sorry, I'm kind of doing two things at once. Okay, so we've shown that the A10's been able to chew up tanks, so I gave it a little bit higher damage there, and that's all subjective. Do you want to keep it that high? Do you want to knock it down? Either way, that's up to you. I gave it 6 heat-seeking missiles, a little bit lower tech here. Although I did give them a 70 damage, a fire control of 4D. Being heat-seeking, I figured they're going to be kind of self-guided, so that would give it a little bit extra. And of course, we have some cluster bombs, fire control 1D, because it's just drop it, forget it, and hope you get it. And really, with a lot of those, from everything I've heard from, say, World War II and all that, it really depends on the skill of the pilot. So, and I know we usually have some rudimentary sight that we can use, so I kept that down fairly low. And it did do 4D damage, going about a 100 foot for the line of impact. Thinking if it's a cluster bomb, it opens up and it has a small cluster. So that means that you're going to hit and it's going to go 100 feet in front of from the point you hit going out. So that's all going to be 4D. Kind of nasty stuff here. And then I have the 2 auto blasters, which are going to be in the turret. So that's going to be a fire control of 2D and a damage of 4D. And these would be fire controlled. So that's kind of what I have here. Like I said, if we're looking at this as a Cobra vehicle, and then enough of them have been captured over time that GI Joe's been using them for the Tiger Force or whatever. Which I think that's really. I know that it was Hasbro's way of saying, "Hey, let's get this ported over, and then we can sell it again with a repaint for GI Joe." Maybe GI Joe would upgrade it a little bit or so. A little bit better engines. Who knows? I'm just throwing these ideas out here. It's not what I have here. I would probably, I might just keep it the same either way. Um, you can do it however you want. But that's the fighter we have here today, another very iconic vehicle, and something else to throw into the Star Wars universe. Now, if you also notice, I do not have a hyperdrive on here. Because if I'm doing the idea that a ship had crash landed onto Earth from the Star Wars universe, or whatever planet you want to call it, they may not have the hyperdrive technology. They may have the technology to make it so that way they can put the stuff out in space. It can become a true aerospace fighter, but maybe not the hyperdrive yet. So, if it's something you want, then maybe you could start putting it in there later. But at least to start with, I figured maybe not. So, just like I said, it's additional thoughts on this. I mean, we're looking at GI Joe in today in 2024, 1984. So we're talking 40 years later. How do we upgrade all this? How do we make this into a newer kind of take on GI Joe? I think the Rattler is a very good take on maybe where McDonnell Douglas would take the A10. I know that they are working on the next generation A10. They're going to keep it sounds like they're keeping the same base structure of it, but they are updating it. Um, we talk about stealth technology in ours, where we don't really have as much in stealth. There is stealth later on in the book series, so anyone that's yelling at me on that one, in the Star Wars universe. But as far as today, we are adding more stealth stuff into things, um, trying to limit the capabilities of surface to air weapons attacking it that are set for non stealth style aircraft. So, um, but these are ideas. Um, this is my take on it. Like anything, it's all open for interpretation. If it's something you like and you want to use it, go for it. If it's something that you think needs to be changed, hey, let me know, and maybe I'll even change it in my own little setup here. So we'll see you in the next video, and have a good day.